Welcome back to the deep dive. If you're following the workforce conversation, there's just this intense pressure right now on colleges, on
Oh,
universities.
absolutely. The demand for job-ready people is, well, it's exploding.
Exactly.
Right.
Especially in these AI-driven fields, right? Semiconductors, clean energy, data centers, advanced manufacturing, the list goes on.
And the educational institutions, they want to meet this demand. The willingness is there.
But it hits this massive wall, a financial one. Our sources are pretty blunt, calling traditional procurement models insurmountable
Yeah,
barriers.
that phrase really jumps out.
It does. So if a college wants to bring in cutting-edge tech like spatial AI, they face like three big things. First, just huge capital needs.
Which they often don't have readily available.
Right. Second, these incredibly slow, complex procurement cycles. We're talking multi-year waits.
Uh-huh. Well, the technology has already moved on.
Exactly. And third, all the financial risk. It lands squarely on the institution's budget.
It forces this awful choice, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Be cautious financially or try to innovate quickly for students.
Precisely. So what we're diving into today is a response that isn't really about the tech itself, but more about the money, a new financial framework.
Right. We're looking at EON Reality's SkillBuild SPV, that special purpose vehicle, a college partnership program.
SPV. Okay.
So think of the SPV as like a separate company, basically.
Yeah.
A dedicated financial entity set up just to hold the capital risk for these big projects.
Okay, so it's external.
Exactly. Its whole mission is to get rid of those capital barriers for the college, let them bypass the whole capital expenditure nightmare, and get this spatial AI infrastructure now, not years from now.
That sounds, well, it sounds incredibly useful. The source says it's a breakthrough platform offering up to $12.1 million in program value.
That's the figure, yeah.
Yeah.
12.1 million.
And it flips the script, right?
Yeah.
Turns this tech from a huge capital expense into potentially a revenue-generating asset.
That's the claim. A guaranteed one, even.
Okay, we definitely need to unpack this. How does this financial sleight of hand almost actually work? And what does it mean for the colleges signing up? So when the source calls it infrastructure-grade educational financing, it signals this isn't just, a few software licenses.
Not at all. We're talking about an entire ecosystem deployed at scale. It's way beyond a pilot program.
It's like buying the whole factory, not just a few tools.
That's a good way to put it.
Mm.
The SkillBuild SPV is built for big institutional-wide adoption. That's why the numbers seem so large. They bundle everything.
So what's in the bundle?
Okay, so you get thousands of licenses across, let's say, three main buckets. First, the content creation tools. That's EON XR and EON AI platforms. Almost 6,000 licenses for each.
So faculty and students can build their own immersive training materials quickly?
Exactly. Then you have the real-time utility platforms, the EON Digital Twin IQ. Again, nearly 6,000 licenses. This is for advanced simulations, problem solving in real time.
Okay, creation and simulation. What's the third bucket? This seems key to the money side.
Right, the outcome platforms. This is all about proving market success, demonstrating value.
Oh, okay.
So that includes the EON and Career Compass platform licenses. Again, almost 6,000, focused squarely on getting graduates jobs faster.
Makes sense.
And then 5,000 licenses for the EON and Entrepreneur Guide platform. This helps students or even alumni take their XR creations and actually launch businesses.
Wow. Okay, so the sheer volume there, it really signals this is meant for the whole institution, not just like one department's pet project.
Definitely. And it's turnkey. That's crucial. It includes all the hardware for a full XR lab set up to EON specs.
Plus the services, training, support.
Everything. Faculty training, help aligning it with the curriculum, tech support. It has to work straight away.
Okay, now the money. How does a college CFO, who's probably very risk-averse, get comfortable with this? There's something called the Fast Start option, or FSO.
Yes, the FSO, this is really the key mechanism that makes it low risk upfront for the institution. It bridges that gap between this looks interesting and, okay, the contract is signed.
How does it work?
So the FSO lets the college activate the whole program internally almost immediately. They place what's called a priority activation deposit, or PAD.
PAD. Okay.
It's 2.5% of that total $12.1 million value. So that works out to $300,000 USDA.
$300,000 to kick off a $12 million program. That's
Yeah.
significant leverage.
It is, but here's the really clever part. That $300 KPAD, it's 100% credited back to the institution against their required contribution when the final SPV contract gets signed.
Ah, so it's not really an expense. It's more like earnest money.
Exactly. It's fully refundable. If things don't proceed, it's low risk. It's basically a handshake deal that says, okay, you start building your courses now, get your faculty trained now, while we finalize the big financing structure.
So it gets around the internal administrative delays. The faculty can start working even while the university committees are still meeting.
Precisely. Immediate enablement. And this whole SPV approach, it fundamentally changes the dynamic between colleges and tech providers, doesn't
Yeah.
it? It moves away from that procurement headache we talked about.
Yeah, it seems like a completely different model.
Think about it. Traditionally, a college had to choose innovate or be financially safe. If they wanted a $12 million lab, they needed $12 million cash up front, usually from bonds or reserves.
Right, a huge hurdle.
The SkillBuild SPV flips that. It offers up to 100% external financing through that SPV structure. The SPV finds the capital.
And that difference in who finds the capital must massively impact the speed. Right.
Up dramatically.
Yeah.
Traditional procurement takes, what, 12 to 24 months? Maybe longer? You're waiting on approvals, budget cycles, RFPs.
Endless meetings.
With the SPV model, they're talking about activation in 30 to 90 days from approval.
Wow. That's the difference between catching a wave like a local workforce need and missing it completely.
Exactly.
But, okay, playing devil's advocate here. If the SPV is putting up nearly all money and taking the capital risk, what's in it for them? And doesn't the institution lose control? Are they trading dollars for autonomy?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? Or rather, the $12 million question.
Oh, right.
The source material is very clear on this. Institutions keep full academic control. They own the outcomes. The SPV manages the financial side.
So the SPV makes sure the program can pay for itself through revenue.
Exactly. It doesn't dictate how to teach. The focus is on accountability for results, not controlling the classroom.
And the risk distribution.
Yeah. Well, under the old way, if the college spent $12 million and it didn't pan out, students didn't enroll, tech wasn't used, they absorbed the whole loss.
Ouch.
With the SPV, that risk is spread across the dedicated financing vehicle. So the SPV itself has a very strong incentive to make sure this program works, generates revenue right from day one.
Which leads directly to how they structure that revenue generation.
Precisely.
So the takeaway is they've flipped the financial model, turned a potential liability, a cost center, into a potential growth engine. How do they guarantee revenue starts flowing immediately? Because this whole structure, this $12 million bet, it only works if the technology actually solves real problems that people or companies will pay for.
Absolutely. The finance has to connect to real economic impact. And that's where these 4 specific applications come in. They're targeting areas of immediate high demand.
Okay, what's the first one?
Application 1 is workforce upskilling. This is huge for community colleges especially. They need ways to quickly train people who are out of work or stuck in low-wage jobs for these new high-demand roles.
Right, the skills gap everyone talks about.
Exactly. And the SPV helps because deploying this comprehensive lab and curriculum quickly helps the college get on the ETPL,
ETPL.
Eligible Training Provider List. It's jargon, but it's important jargon.
Why?
Because being on that list means they qualify for WIOA funding. That's the Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act. Federal and state money specifically for training workers.
Ah, so the SPV helps them tap into existing government funding streams faster?
Bingo. It creates a sustainable revenue stream tied directly to getting people jobs. Instead of waiting years to build a program and get approved, they activate the SPV, qualify for WIOA funds, and start training immediately.
Like, if a new semiconductor plant is opening nearby, they can start training hundreds of techs right away using this.
That's the idea.
Yeah.
Real-world, rapid response. Okay. Number 2, academic laboratory enhancement. This is more for universities.
Research grade stuff.
Yeah. Faculty need advanced tools. The licensing model here, combined with that fast start option we talked about, means faculty can start developing grant proposals or new research projects immediately.
Sidestepping the usual university bureaucracy that can kill innovation.
Exactly. Application 3 is interesting. Employer training partnerships.
Okay, training for companies.
Right. Colleges often want to do this, provide training for local employers, but they might lack the scale or the risk appetite for big corporate contracts.
Yeah, setting up a custom program for 1,000 employees is a big lift.
But the SPV structure gives them that capacity instantly. They can become the go-to training provider handling large-scale programs. This means guaranteed revenue through things like employer seat reservations.
So a big energy company could reserve, say, 1,000 seats a year for advanced safety training, and the college uses the SPV infrastructure to deliver it, locking in revenue.
That's the model. It helps the college meet its business development goals too.
Okay, and the last one.
Number 4, entrepreneurship acceleration. using those 5,000 licenses for the Entrepreneur Guide platform.
Right, the one for starting businesses.
This lets the institution position itself as a real innovation hub. They're actively helping students, maybe even alumni, create ventures based on this tech.
Becoming an incubator, essentially.
Pretty much. And there's a built-in way to potentially monetize that, tied to the success of those ventures down the line.
So just to recap the money flow, $12.12 million total value. Institution puts in only 2.5%, that $300 K deposit, which gets credited back.
Correct.
And the SPV is banking on success across those four areas: tuition, workforce funds, corporate contracts, maybe some venture success to pay back the investment.
It's all about performance. A risk-optimized bet on measurable outcomes.
Okay, but if someone, the SPV, is fronting close to $12 million, you have to assume there's serious quality control. This isn't just free money, right?
Oh, absolutely not. It's invitation only, and there's a rigorous evaluation process. They need to be sure the institution is actually set up to succeed.
How do they evaluate them? What are they looking for?
Accountability is really the bedrock here. Institutions have to go through this evaluation and hit a high score of 4.0 out of 5, or better to even get approved.
And what gets weighted the most in that score?
This is key. Demand and employer alignment. That gets the highest weight, 25%.
So proof that the jobs actually exist locally.
And not just vague promises, they want tangible proof. Signed memorandums of understanding, MOUs with employers, real relationships with the local workforce board, actual commitments from companies to hire graduates or reserve training seats.
So if a college can't prove that local demand is real and essentially locked in, they won't get the funding.
That's the implication. No guaranteed demand, no approval. It makes the funding directly accountable to the job market.
That's a powerful incentive for the college to perform.
It really is. And it's backed up by the governance and accountability framework. They use KPIs, key performance indicators.
Tracking what?
Everything that matters for success. Course completion rates, actual job placement numbers, the revenue generated through those different streams.
And who verifies this? The college just reports its own numbers.
No, that's critical too. There's independent verification of the outcomes. Third-party auditors confirm the performance metrics.
Okay, so real checks and balances.
Absolutely.
Right.
That financial rigor, plus ensuring data privacy compliance like FERPA and GDPR, creates a system where everyone, the college, the SPV, is pulling in the same direction towards measurable student success and economic impact.
And they have a clear process for getting this all launched.
Yeah, a 7-step launch process. It goes from the initial meeting through application committee review, the FSO activation, all the way to full deployment and getting faculty up to speed.
So it basically takes what could be years of internal delays.
And turns it into an external, fast-tracked financing and deployment path. It replaces the internal procurement bottleneck with an express lane.
So for you listening, the core takeaway here seems to be that this SkillBuild SPV, it's more than just clever financing. It's aiming to be a strategic shift.
Right.
It could transform how colleges acquire and deploy technology, moving it from being this huge procurement headache to potentially a real competitive edge, a way for institutions to quickly become leaders in training for the AI economy in their region.
Building that job pipeline now, not waiting years down the road.
Exactly.
But, this does raise a bigger question as these kinds of models gain traction.
Yeah.
If the future of funding for advanced education tech relies so heavily on tying capital directly to these very specific, granular performance metrics,
Like job placement rates, employer deals, revenue targets.
and requires external committee oversight and independent audits of those outcomes,
Yeah.
what does this intense focus on quantifiable KPIs mean for something like, say, the traditional idea of academic freedom?
That's a really interesting tension. Where does performance measurement end and academic direction begin?
Exactly. That's something we'll likely see debated much more as these performance-based financial models become more common in education. Something to think about.